Today has been a pretty intense roller coaster for the Division 2 community. There was the scheduled maintenance, I'm using air quotes there, as Wednesday is not a normal day for Division maintenances to occur. You knew we would see all sorts of "I got banned" messages, and just so I don't get left out, there you go, I too have been banned, and Ubisoft pulls out of E3, then announces an alternative in June. What's going on, everybody? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and welcome back to the channel. And first off, I'd like to inform you that just by watching this video, you too have been banned. There. Now, we are all banned, and of course we're going to touch on that in just a bit, and I had some further thoughts on the Fei-Lao XP farm. But first, we need to touch on the crappy PC performance that we saw on the live game after this morning's maintenance. A maintenance that was touted as needed to delete and clean up the servers for the game. I saw massive lag, stutters, skips, wild FPS drops, crashes that continue on PC, and by the way, nothing about that in today's maintenance. And overall, it felt like my player was running in glue. Now, I recorded some of that, and you can see some of that footage in the background here, and I actually posted it over to Twitter. I tagged the Division game, I tagged Morton. No responses from either of them as to what they did on their side, but I can tell you that even back when that Fei-Lao XP farm was ongoing and players were talking about the massive lag and latency, my game performed better then than it did this morning after apparently they cleaned all of that up and imposed those upcoming bans for any players that continued the XP farm. For science, I decided to test this out outside of Washington, D.C. I actually fast-traveled over to Woney, and I can confirm it's even worse when you leave the Washington, D.C. map. Lag, stutters, skips, wild FPS drops, everything I've already touched on was even worse over on Woney, and taking that into account, I'm going to assume this applies to anything outside of Washington, D.C. So we're talking the Summit, we're talking Manning National Zoo, Coney Island. Quite possibly the Camp White Oak mission is still affected, probably DARPA, Pentagon, and the messages that I've been reading is Countdown is still unplayable. Now, if I was reading everything correctly, they were going to ban players from this Fei-Lao XP farm because it was causing massive latency, and then they went in this morning with this performance pass and maintenance to the servers to kind of clean it up so it would work even better, but at least for me on my side, it's at least 5 times worse. The gameplay's like I'm on a PC built in the 1980s. Second topic for today is Ubisoft's announcement for this coming June, since they ended up pulling out of E3 in the last 48 hours. And by the way, E3 sounds like it's going to be a shell of its former self. No PlayStation, no Xbox, no Nintendo, and on this topic, no Ubisoft. But they're going to be holding their next Ubisoft Forward event simultaneously in LA on June the 12th. So same dates, same city, just not live for spectators? I mean, what's going on there? I still have questions as to why you wouldn't want to show off your products with hands-on stations for players to actually put controllers in hands, mouse and keyboards, try out all the latest or upcoming titles from Ubisoft. You could have Skull and Bones there. You could have some sort of snippet from Assassin's Creed Mirage, something like that. It's almost like they feel like they're just going to get bashed by disgruntled players, and so they decided not to go with a formal setup. All right, final topic for today are these bans. Rumors of bans, players trolling like they got banned. It's all the craze right now. And setting the record straight, as far as I know, no players got banned today. Massive is simply starting the monitoring process from this day forward. So if you did it, cut it out, or you're going to get a 14-day temp ban or permaban on your second offense. There's also this theory kind of circulating around the Division community that damage glitch offenders, those that got caught back when Woney launched, already have one strike against their account. So if they get caught doing this Fei-Lao XP farm, that could be number 2, which means an instant permaban. Now, I haven't confirmed any of that. I haven't really read through Twitter completely from all of the ComDev members, but that's entirely a possibility and one that I didn't even consider yesterday. So if you got caught doing the damage glitch back when Woney launched, and you're doing this one, this could be strike number 2. Now, in terms of the discussion points I touched on yesterday about how Division players feel that those that used the Failao XP exploit gained serious advantages over those that did not, let's hash this out further. Now, in terms of this XP farm and what the players gained, let's talk about this. First off is going to be XP for proficiency caches. We saw how quickly players were picking up shade ranks. Of course, each shade rank is going to equal a proficiency cache. That's going to amount to several pieces of gear, at which point you can either donate them to the expertise station or sell them to a vendor or break them down for materials. I know materials was a big portion of this XP farm. You also get weapons and gear proficiency, so just by equipping a piece of gear, a weapon, something that you don't use, and then farming the ever-living hell out of that spawn door with the chem launcher rounds, you're going to pick up very fast proficiency ranks. But just because you're picking up proficiency ranks doesn't instantly translate into that piece of gear is going to be god rolled or that weapon's going to be doing max damage. You know how the expertise station works. You first have to go over, you have to take it and rank it up to proficient. Let's assume you're a proficient, and then you have to start donating massive amounts of materials to rank it up. And then you're what? Expertise level 1, 2, 3, etc. Well, once you hit, I think it's 10, when you make it up to expertise level 11, then it starts requiring exotic components, and as far as I know, those don't drop in proficiency caches. So anyone that's over farming Failao, they may be picking up tons of these proficiency caches, which then they can use to break down for materials, they can use to donate to the expertise station, or just sell them for credits. But what they're not picking up, unless it just drops naturally on the ground, is an exotic. And of course, once you do hit that level 11, I think it's level 11 at the expertise station, then it starts requiring exotic components, and that bench is extraordinarily hungry. It could eat up hundreds of exotic components to get several pieces of gear or several weapons up to max rank. And as far as I know, I may be wrong here, you could get 1,000 proficiency caches to drop on the ground doing this Failao thing, but you're not going to get exotic components unless an exotic drops physically on the ground as a loot drop from one of those NPC kills. So yes, I understand the argument that players are over there picking up tons and tons and tons of proficiency rank to get their weapons up to a proficient level, but at that point, they've got to start donating resources. The first 10 levels of resources are just going to require basic materials, but once you hit rank 11, you need exotic components. Unless they're getting those items to drop physically on the ground because you can't find them in a proficiency cache, they're SOL. And then the only other gain you can get within the Shade Watch system is 2 points of health every time you achieve a Shade rank. And I touched on this in yesterday's video. Some players are feeling that by somebody reaching a 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 Shade rank that they have a decided advantage. Well, yeah, they're going to pick up 2 points of health for their Shade Watch every time they rank up. But remember, this game is not real big on health. This isn't the old days when players could run around with a clutch build in PvP. But still, I understand that when you look at somebody's Shade rank and it says 90,000, 100,000, and you see their health pool, you're like, oh, hell no. So that's why I suggested, why don't we just cap the health gains at Shade rank 10,000? Which would mean somewhere around a 50,000 bonus health on the Shade Watch system. I mean, I've seen legit players at Shade rank 10,000 and above well before this Failao XP farm ever existed. At least, you know, let them capitalize on all the time they put into the game. But I think that's a good starting point, and I said so yesterday in yesterday's video. I think that Shade rank 10,000, 50,000 bonus health is a great place to just put the hard cap, and let's go from there. As always, I look forward to reading your feedback in the comments section below. Sound off about anything I touched on in today's video. Remember to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button and ring the bell to receive my latest upload notifications. While you're at it, if you could take a few seconds more to rate and or share this video, that would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can find and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and over in my open community Discord server, links to all of which can be found in the video description and pinned comments below. Huge shout out to the over 115,000 of you that have taken that leap and hit that subscribe button, and a special thanks to the Buzz Battalion patrons over on Patreon. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.